Some stories begin softly, some start with thunder, but this one begins under a streetlight whisper. Rain fell without mercy, cold, relentless, endless silence. The world shimmered silver, reflections dancing through puddles. Ethan Cole drove home. Old truck, tired engine hum, hands rough from work, smell of oil lingering. His daughter Lily slept, curled under her blanket, 6 years old, dreaming sweetly, safe from the night. The heater hummed low, rain tapped on metal. Headlights cut the dark, slicing through misted air. Then he saw her, a shape under light, a girl on a bench, barefoot, soaked, shivering quietly, hugging a backpack tight, hair clinging to cheeks. Rainwater ran down lashes, eyes empty, staring forward. Ethan slowed instinctively down, glanced at the clock, midnight on Main Street. The diner's neon flickered. He parked at curbside. Engine idled, headlights steady. Inside, warmth and safety. Outside, loneliness in motion. He studied her posture, trembling knees, pale fingers, no umbrella, no shoes, just quiet desperation glowing. "Hey," he called softly. Rain muffled his tone. "You okay out there?" Voice gentle, non-threatening, kind. The girl startled fast, eyes wide like fear. Her voice came thin, almost drowned by rain. "I'm fine," she whispered, but her lips shook. Her breath came shallow. She wasn't fine at all. Ethan frowned, slightly concerned. She looked 16, maybe. Too young, too fragile, too alone in storm. He thought of Lily sleeping, her tiny chest rising slow, safe, warm, protected always. What if she wasn't? He reached for sandwich, wrapped in brown paper, his dinner untouched, forgotten. He sighed, heart heavy. "Here," he said softly. "I won't bother you." He leaned out window, raindrops kissing his arm. The girl hesitated long, then slowly stood trembling. Her bare feet splashed. She stepped toward headlights. Her eyes met his, wary, guarded, exhausted beyond. "You have a kid?" she asked, barely audible. Ethan nodded, faintly smiling. "Yeah, that's Lily there. She's the reason why I still believe good exists." Something softened inside her. Walls cracked just slightly. She reached for bag, hands trembling, soaked fingers cold. "Thank you," she whispered faintly, voice small as rain. He shook his head. "No thanks needed, all right? Just eat. Stay warm." She nodded, lips trembling. He smiled once more. "Take care, kiddo." He rolled window closed, shifted gear, pulled away. Rain swallowed the moment, but heart refused silence. He watched rearview mirror, saw her tiny shape, still sitting under light, still holding that bag. The truck rattled onward, streetlights blurred like tears. He tried convincing himself he'd done enough tonight. Yet guilt whispered softly, a father's quiet intuition. He drove 2 blocks, then slowed unconsciously again. Lily murmured in sleep, her small voice dreaming. He looked at her, then back to mirror. There she was still, opening paper bag carefully, hands shaking as thunder, took one small bite. Ethan gripped steering wheel. Rain blurred his vision. A tear slid unnoticed. He exhaled through heaviness. He thought of shelters, of kids lost wandering, of moments that define who we choose to be. He nearly turned back, almost pulled around corner, but something stopped him. Maybe fear, maybe reason, maybe knowing the line, between helping and hurting, between saving and scaring. He stayed still inside. Outside, rain kept falling. The bench glowed softly. The girl looked upward, toward his fading taillights. Her lips began moving, a whisper, faint, unseen. Words carried by rain. He couldn't hear them, but they found him later, in dreams, quiet nights, when thunder rolled distant, and regret came softly. Because sometimes kindness speaks, not through grand gestures, but through rain-soaked silence, through trembling hands unseen, he didn't know yet that this small moment would ripple through lives, change everything forever. But that night, alone, he drove into darkness. One sandwich lighter and one question heavier. What did she whisper? He would find out soon. The rain had started. And so had the story. Morning broke in silence. Gray sky, pale light bleeding. The storm had passed gently, but its echo remained. Ethan poured black coffee, steam curled in sunlight. He stared through window. Rain still clung outside. Lily giggled on couch. Cartoons filled the room. Her innocence, his anchor, her laughter, his calm. But his thoughts lingered. That girl on bench, barefoot, shaking, whispering rain. Her eyes haunted him. He couldn't shake it. The quiet in her voice. The way she said, "I'm fine," but wasn't. He told himself, no, it's not your problem. You helped. You left. End of story, right? Still, guilt crept in. Felt like unfinished business, like headlights in rain, leading him back again. He dropped Lily at school. Her small hand waved. "Love you, Daddy," echoing. He smiled, heart heavy. The road stretched ahead. Same diner, same bench, now bathed in sunlight. No one there anymore. He parked across street, watched through windshield quietly. Diner doors swung open. Waitress carried hot trays. Then he saw her. The same rain-soaked girl, now inside that diner, wiping tables, eyes down. She was working there, hair tied, clothes worn, a borrowed uniform maybe, still looked fragile, hollow. Ethan's chest tightened slowly, so she wasn't homeless. Or maybe she was, just surviving between nights. He entered quietly inside. Bell chimed soft above, warm smell of coffee, old songs on radio. The girl noticed him. Eyes widened for second. Recognition flickered, then faded. She looked away fast. He sat by counter, ordered pancakes, black coffee, pretended not to stare, but couldn't help watching. She moved carefully around, avoiding one tall man, wearing manager's badge proudly. His smile looked sharp. He brushed her shoulder. Too close, too intentional. She flinched, stepped back. Her hands trembled slightly. Ethan saw everything now. The reason for fear, the whisper in rain, the silence that screamed. "Excuse me," he said, voice calm but steady. "To-go order, please." She nodded without words. Up close he saw her eyes rimmed red. Sleepless nights reflected there. Still, she forced smile. He handed a bill, more than meal's worth. "Keep the change, okay?" She froze mid-motion. He added softly, low. "For something warm tonight?" She looked confused briefly, then mouthed, "Thank you." The manager returned, smirking. "Get moving, Sophie," barked. Her name hit Ethan hard, so she had a name. Sophie, the girl from Rain, now caged by fear, still pretending she's fine. She whispered, "Sorry, sir." Voice almost breaking down, the man leaned closer, too close, too cruel. Ethan's jaw tightened silently. He didn't speak yet, just watched, heart pounding, hands gripping coffee mug. He noticed other staff, all looking, none helping. Fear spread like sickness. Everyone pretending blindness. Sophie kept working quietly, wiping table, eyes down, hiding behind practiced smiles, masking her trembling hands. Ethan finished his plate. Couldn't eat another bite. His stomach felt heavy, like guilt turned to stone. He stood, ready leaving, then paused at doorway, turned for one glance. The manager leaned close again. Sophie froze mid-step. He whispered something cruel. Her shoulders collapsed inward, tears glimmered, quickly hidden. Ethan couldn't move away, couldn't pretend anymore. His conscience screamed loud, his chest burned quietly. The bell chimed faintly. Rain started once more. He walked back inside, heart heavy as thunder. The manager noticed him. "Forgot something?" he asked. Ethan's eyes stayed calm, voice steady, quiet strength. "Yeah," Ethan replied softly. "I forgot my piece." The man frowned slightly. Sophie looked terrified suddenly. Ethan turned to her. "Take care of yourself." Their eyes locked long, a silent promise exchanged. Then he left again, out into gray drizzle, hands shaking in pocket, mind racing in storm. He leaned on truck, rain hitting his jacket. Every instinct told him this wasn't over yet. Sophie's face replayed. Those eyes, that fear, the hush behind words, the courage beneath silence. He thought of Lily. What would he want? If she were Sophie? If no one helped her? The answer hit deep, like lightning behind ribs. He couldn't walk away, not from this truth. He started the engine. Wipers sweeping endlessly. The road blurred ahead, decision forming slowly inside. He glanced at diner lights. Warm glow in distance, her silhouette still moving, trapped in quiet fear. Ethan whispered to Rain, "I'll come back, kid." It wasn't a promise. It was a vow. Thunder rumbled far away. The storm wasn't over, it was just beginning. And somewhere inside diner, Sophie looked through window, saw his truck leaving, and whispered under breath, "Please, don't forget me." Night returned like memory. Soft rain on glass. Ethan couldn't find rest. Sleep felt miles away. The diner lights haunted. That manager's smirk lingered. Sophie's trembling eyes replayed, over and over again. He sat by window, coffee gone cold beside, rain tapping rhythmic sorrow. The clock ticked heavy. He thought of Lily, her small arms hugging, her voice saying, "Daddy? Are you sad again?" He forced a smile. "No, sweetheart, just thinking." But she looked deeper. Children always see truth. Next morning came gray. Clouds hung low, heavy. Ethan dropped Lily early, her laughter fading softly. He drove in silence, hands tight on wheel, heart pounding with purpose. Diner sign appeared ahead. The same seat waited. Corner booth near window. He sat, pretending calm, watching the door quietly. Minutes passed like hours. Then Sophie walked in, hair still damp slightly, eyes rimmed with fatigue. She froze upon seeing, then offered faint smile, not surprise, recognition. He nodded, gentle reassurance. When rush hour ended, he waited patiently there. Only few customers left. Spoons clinked, coffee steamed. He stood, approached counter. "Can we talk privately?" His voice soft, careful. Sophie looked uncertain, scared. The manager was gone. Out for smoke break. She hesitated, then nodded. 5 minutes, she whispered. They stepped outside quietly. Behind diner near dumpsters. Steam rose from grates. Rain dripped from awning. For a moment, silence. Just raindrops, shallow breaths. Ethan looked at her, saw exhaustion beyond years. "You're not okay, are you?" His words gentle, certain. Sophie froze, lips trembling. Her hands gripped apron. "No one ever asks." Her voice barely there. Then she looked down. Tears slipped, unhidden now. Ethan waited, saying nothing. Sometimes silence heals first. She inhaled shaky breath. "I can't lose this." Her eyes lifted slowly. "He's the manager here. He follows me home." Words barely escaped lips. Ethan's chest went tight. He swallowed quiet fury. "How long's this been?" She looked away fast. "Since my first week. He says no one cares. Says girls like me." She couldn't finish sentence. Rain fell harder suddenly, echoing her broken rhythm. Ethan's voice, low, steady. "You told someone yet?" She shook her head no. "They'll fire me first." Then almost whispering, "He knows everyone." Her knuckles turned white. Ethan felt old rage, the kind born from injustice. He'd seen fear before, in burning buildings, trapped eyes. Flashback flickered sharply now. Smoke, sirens, collapsing walls. He'd carried strangers out, saved lives from fire. But this silence? It burned slower, deeper. A fire with no smoke. A scream no one hears. He stepped closer carefully. You don't have to hide. His tone carried conviction, not pity, but strength. Sophie looked up, trembling. Why do you care? Her voice cracked raw. Tears streaked her cheeks. Ethan exhaled softly. Because someone once helped me. When I didn't ask. When I thought I'd fall. Their eyes locked gently. No hero, no victim. Just two wounded souls, sharing fragile understanding. Wind gusted through alley. Car tires splashed nearby. Sophie hugged herself tighter, her breath forming mist. Ethan reached coat pocket, offered his small card, his name and number. Call me if needed. She hesitated, then took, fingers brushing briefly, cold. Thank you, she whispered, voice trembling but real, then sound of footsteps. Manager returning from smoke. Sophie froze instantly again, mask sliding back on. Ethan stepped aside quietly. Didn't want seen here. But his eyes promised, this isn't the end. Manager smirked walking past, glance filled with control. Ethan's fists clenched unseen. He watched, breathing deep. Sophie slipped back inside, pretending nothing happened, pretending she was fine. But truth had leaked. Ethan stood under rain, heart pounding in ache. He looked at sky, muttered to himself quietly. She needs a chance. Not pity, not rescue, just a shield maybe, someone to believe her. He watched through window, manager talking to Sophie, too close again, laughing, her eyes downcast, trapped. Ethan couldn't unsee now, couldn't unhear her voice. The whispered confession burned, echoing through his ribs. He turned to leave, rain soaking his jacket, his steps heavy, slow. But his resolve? Solid steel. At his truck door, he glanced one last time. She caught his eyes briefly, and mouthed, "Thank you." He nodded faintly back. Engine rumbled alive softly. Wipers swept tears away, both his and the sky's. As he drove home, Lily's drawing on dash, a stick family smiling, under a bright sun. He stared at it long, realized what kindness meant, not grand gestures loud, but small brave moments. He whispered to himself, she doesn't deserve fear. Then, gripping the wheel, he made silent promise. Tomorrow, things will change. He won't let silence win. Morning came gray again. Clouds hung low, unmoving. Wind whispered through cracks. Ethan stared at coffee. Lily's laughter filled kitchen. She hummed between bites. Her joy felt fragile. He smiled despite ache. Daddy, you okay today? Her eyes searching softly. He brushed her hair. I'm okay, Pumpkin. Promise. But his mind wandered. Back to that diner. Back to Sophie's whisper. Her fear behind smile. The world still turned. Traffic, noise, routine motions. But something shifted quietly. Inside, a decision forming. He'd seen injustice before, on job sites daily. Supervisors yelling, corners cut. Good people staying quiet. He always kept peace. Didn't want trouble brewing. But this wasn't work. This was someone's safety. He washed his cup. Water running like rain. Reflected face looked older. Tired eyes, steady heart. Sometimes, he whispered low, doing right costs comfort. Then exhaled, long breath. Decision turning into steel. He dropped Lily at school, kissed her forehead gently. Be brave today, sweetheart. She giggled. Always, Daddy. Then silence filled cab. He gripped steering wheel. Knuckles pale, jaw set. Headlights cutting morning fog. Diner sign ahead glowed. Same flicker, same hum, same ghosts waiting inside. He parked, heartbeat rising. Inside smelled like grease, coffee, syrup, cigarette traces. Manager leaned by counter, laughing with another cook. Sophie saw him enter. Eyes widened, half hope, half fear. He nodded once slowly. Calm before the storm. He sat at booth. Didn't order this time. Just waited in silence, hands folded, eyes firm. Minutes passed, heavy air. Then manager sauntered over. "Hey, buddy, you lost?" Voice dripping mockery thin. Ethan met his eyes. "No, I found reason." Manager chuckled, feigned confusion. "Oh yeah? Enlighten me." Ethan leaned slightly forward. "You'll stop bothering her." Tone low, but deadly calm. The whole diner froze. Manager's grin faltered slightly. "You talking about who?" Ethan didn't blink once. "You know exactly who." He laughed again nervously. "Careful, man, that's slander." Ethan's voice stayed cold. "Careful's what you never were." Sophie dropped her tray. Clatter broke the tension. Her hands shook visibly, eyes darting between them. Other waitress whispered softly. Customers watched, pretending calm. But truth filled the air. Everyone knew something wrong. Manager straightened posture stiffly. "You don't know anything." Ethan's eyes never wavered. "I know fear when seen." For a heartbeat. Silence. Then the man sneered. "You think you're hero?" Ethan answered without hesitation. "No, just a father. One who's seen monsters." His voice carried weight, not anger, something purer. Sophie stepped forward shakily. Tears glimmered, voice trembling. "He's right. Everything true." Gasps spread through diner. The manager blanched instantly, tried forcing laugh again. "Don't believe this nonsense." But eyes turned on him. Cook lowered his spatula. Old waitress crossed arms. Silence grew, thick, electric. Truth finally unhidden here. Ethan didn't move closer, didn't raise his tone, just stared, unflinching calm. "You should walk away." Manager's jaw clenched hard, but power was gone. He could feel it. The room wasn't his. Sophie wiped her tears, voice steadier than before. "I quit," she said, simple but thunderous words. Manager opened his mouth, but no words formed. Ethan stood up slowly, eyes meeting one last time. "You can't scare light." He said it quietly, then turned, guiding Sophie. Out into gray rain. He walked her home, just few blocks away. Small attic above shop, sparse, clean, quiet space. She set down apron, hands trembling, slightly still. "Why'd you help me?" Her eyes searched him. Ethan paused, thought deeply, then answered with honesty. "Because someone helped me once, when I was drowning too." Her eyes softened quietly. Rain softened into drizzle. Outside, sirens faintly echoed. Life moving on normally. But something sacred shifted. A quiet victory bloomed. Two strangers, one decision, and courage found voice. Ethan turned to leave. Lily's school bell ringing. Time to be father again. Time to carry light. As he walked away, Sophie stood at window, watching his figure fade, whispered under breath, "Thank you." Rain dripped from gutters. The street reflected silver light. And in that moment, fear lost a little ground. Morning broke in silence, soft gold through curtains. Coffee steamed forgotten nearby. Ethan stared at nothing. Rain had finally stopped, but storms still lingered. Inside his chest, quiet thunder. Inside his mind, resolve. Lily's laughter echoed faintly. She played with crayons, drawing sunshine and hearts, her innocence, his compass always. Then, 3 firm knocks, a pause, then again. Ethan's heart stilled instantly. Through window, blue lights flashed, a cruiser at curb, officer stepping from car, cap tilted, notebook ready, rain boots splashing softly. Ethan opened the door. "Morning," the officer greeted. "Ethan Cole?" Calm tone. "Yes, sir," Ethan answered. Neighbor curtains fluttered nosily. Whispers hid behind blinds. The officer's gaze steady. "This about the girl?" Ethan nodded once slowly. No fear, just readiness. "She's safe," he said. "Is she?" Officer asked. Ethan's jaw tightened firm. "She was in danger. You know that already." Officer's brows lifted slightly. "People reported her missing from foster home nearby. Said she ran away." Ethan's eyes darkened quietly. "She told me why. You'd have run too." The officer studied him, measured compassion and defiance. "She stayed here overnight?" Ethan didn't flinch, nodded. "One night. Warm food, a bed, nothing else." "Brave thing to do," the officer murmured low. "Risky too, you know." Ethan half smiled sadly. Doing right's always risky. The officer wrote notes. Wind brushed through silence. Leaves scattered across porch. Then the officer spoke. "She's with social services now. Temporary home, better oversight. She mentioned your name." Ethan blinked, surprised slightly. "She said what exactly?" The man looked down. "She said you listened." A pause, heavy, human. "She said you believed her." Ethan swallowed, throat tight. That word, believed, cut deep. The officer's tone softened. "She's giving a statement about that manager guy. You might be called." Ethan nodded, no hesitation. "I'll stand for her." The officer gave nod. Respect behind his eyes. "Most people walk away. Appreciate what you did." Then turned toward Cruiser. Rain started lightly again. As the car left, Ethan stood in doorway, heart heavy, hands trembling. Lily tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, was that police?" Her eyes big, curious. He smiled faintly, kneeling. "Yeah, sweetheart. Good ones." "Did they help Maya?" He froze for heartbeat. That name, Maya, unexpected. "Where'd you hear that?" Lily smiled, innocent grin. "She told me yesterday. Said she liked pancakes." Ethan's eyes softened instantly. So Sophie had trusted. Shared her real name finally. Not a runaway anymore. A person reborn slowly. He hugged his daughter. "Yeah, sweetheart. They're helping her." Lily looked relieved, nodding. "Good." She was scared. Later that afternoon, Ethan visited the diner. Empty chairs, silence thick. Manager nowhere in sight, owner behind counter frowning. "You the mechanic guy?" Ethan nodded, cautious tone. "I'm who you heard." The man sighed deeply. "She told me everything." "Good," Ethan said quietly. "She deserved to be heard." The owner rubbed temple. "She's brave, that kid. Police came this morning. He's under investigation now." Ethan closed his eyes. Relief poured like rain. One battle quietly won. But hearts still healing. He left without words. Rain eased into drizzle. Clouds cracked with sunlight. Air smelled like renewal. On the way home, his phone buzzed softly. Unknown number, short text. "Thank you for believing me." No name needed there. He smiled through tears, pulled over, breathed deep, sky clearing above slowly. He whispered to dashboard, "She's going to make it." Then started engine again. Lily's drawing fluttered gently. At red light waiting, he saw reflections passing. People walking, umbrellas open. Life moving, unaware completely. But kindness doesn't need witnesses. It blooms in silence. It grows through courage. It stands when tested. When they got home, Lily ran through puddles. Her laughter filled yard. Ethan watched. Quiet peace. Neighbors peered curiously still. He didn't care anymore. Truth was his shelter. Compassion his only defense. That night by window, rain returned soft again. Not storm, just memory, gentle, forgiving rhythm. He whispered to darkness, "Be safe." Maya girl. Somewhere miles away, she smiled through tears, because courage is contagious, and kindness always echoes, one act at a time, changing someone's forever. Days turned into weeks. The storm finally passed, but its echoes lingered, soft, invisible, everywhere still. Ethan worked long hours, grease, engines, worn hands, life seemed normal again. But something had changed. A letter arrived Tuesday. Plain envelope, no name. Inside, a folded clipping. Local newspaper, headline bold, Mechanic Shelter's Teen Runaway. His name printed underneath, a small town story. A big, quiet truth. He read it slowly, heart thudding, breath steady. Photo of diner window, rain streaks like memory. Neighbors began whispering. Some smiled passing by. Others turned away cold, judgment mixed with awe. At the auto shop, co-workers teased good-naturedly. "Hero now, huh, Cole?" He only smiled faintly. Later that night, a knock on door. 2 paper bags waiting. Food, clothes, no note. He looked around confused. No one in sight, but humanity had answered, ripples spreading quietly outward. Next morning, early dawn, his phone buzzed softly. A message from Maya. "I got the job." Ethan stared in disbelief, smiled through misted eyes. "Proud of you, kid," he typed, hands shaking. She replied 2 words. "You believed first." And just like that, the world felt lighter. Weeks flowed into rhythm. She called sometimes briefly, shared little victories shyly. "Passed my GED. Saved up." He listened, heart swelling. Every word a sunrise. Every update a redemption. Kindness paying forward endlessly. One evening after work, he picked up Lily. School art show tonight. Small hands full of paint. "Daddy," she whispered proudly. "I drew Maya again." He smiled, eyes soft. "Let me see, sweetheart." The drawing showed light. 2 figures in rain, one giving, one receiving. A heart between them. Below, crayon words. "Kindness makes heroes real." Ethan blinked back tears. Lily hugged him tight. That night he sat, writing at the table. Words simple, honest, pure. A man can change. He folded it gently, placed inside his wallet, a reminder for storms, for when doubt returned. Next week brought surprise. The diner reopened quietly. New manager, new smiles, walls freshly painted pale. Maya stood behind counter, uniform crisp, shoulders straight, confidence in her eyes, a quiet fire inside. When she saw Ethan, she froze, then beamed, ran from counter laughing, hugged him without hesitation. "You came," she said. He nodded, voice rough. "Wouldn't miss this, kid." Lily giggled beside him. "Daddy," she whispered proudly. "She looks happy now." Ethan nodded, heart full. "She found her way." They sat near window. Sunlight danced on plates. Warm coffee, shared smiles. No shadows left behind. Maya told her story. Of shelters and healing. Of classes and safety. Of people who cared. "Some nights still hard," she admitted softly honest. "But now I know I matter somewhere." Ethan looked away briefly, eyes shimmering, throat tight. That single word, matter, meant everything tonight. Later, as dusk settled, a reporter approached quietly. "Can I quote you?" Ethan shook his head. "Quote her instead, please." He pointed toward Maya. "She's the real headline." Reporter smiled, nodding softly. Outside, neon lights flickered. Same bench, same corner. But empty now. Peaceful. A ghost turned symbol. Rain began again gently. Not sorrow, just remembrance. Footsteps splashed through puddles. Life breathing second chances. Ethan stood by truck, watched Maya through glass, serving food, laughing lightly. Living, not just surviving. He whispered to night air. "Your mother'd be proud." Somewhere deep inside soul, he felt her answer back. At home, Lily slept. dreams warm, steady breathing. Ethan watched her long. Love anchored every breath. He turned off lamp, whispered into quiet dark. Kindness keeps the world. Then closed his weary eyes. Outside, wind carried echoes, soft voices of courage, Maya's laughter, Lily's innocence. Ethan's silent promise kept. The ripple kept moving, from one heart outward. No thunder, no fame, just light in rain. Morning light felt softer. Rain clouds drifted west. The air smelled new, like endings becoming beginnings. Ethan wiped his hands, grease-stained from a carburetor. Another day, another repair. But peace lived inside. The radio played low, old country fading static. Customers chatted outside, ordinary life resuming. Then a knock arrived, soft, almost uncertain. He turned, wiping palms. A young mailman smiled. "Letter for you, sir." He held a white envelope. No return address marked, just handwriting, careful, small. Ethan frowned, curious now. "Thanks," he said gently. The man nodded, left. Door chimed, silence returned. He studied the paper. Edges slightly wrinkled, damp, rain stain on corner, ink smudged like tears. He opened it slowly, unfolded careful handwriting, a single sheet inside. Words written with trembling grace. "Mr. Cole, you didn't just give food. You gave proof of good. When I was invisible, you saw me still. I thought kindness died. I thought people forgot. But you stopped the rain. If only for a night. Now I work steady. I help at shelters. I tell girls like me. Goodness still breathes somewhere. You gave me light. I'll spend life sharing it. Because of you, someone else will feel seen. Maya." Ethan stopped reading halfway. Eyes burned, throat closed. He sat down slowly, hands shaking around paper. Outside, engines hummed faintly. A truck passed by. The world kept spinning, but his heart stood still. He read it again, every word a heartbeat, every sentence a prayer, every silence between holy. He remembered that night, rain hitting his windshield, her face beneath streetlight. The whisper he never heard. Now he knew it. Now he finally heard, not through sound, through spirit, through a letter's echo. Lily entered quietly, humming. Pink dress, untied shoes. "Daddy, why you crying?" Her voice soft, sincere. He folded letter gently, placed it near heart. "Because someone's found home." He smiled through tears. She tilted her head. "Like when lost things return?" He nodded, voice cracking. "Exactly like that, sweetheart." She climbed his lap, looked at folded paper. "Is it from Maya?" He smiled, eyes glistening. "Yes," he whispered softly. "She's doing real good." Lily grinned, satisfied. "I told you, Daddy. Kindness always circles back." Ethan laughed, tearful joy. "You're too wise, pumpkin." She giggled, hugging tight. Afternoon light deepened golden. Sunbeams streaked through dust. A wind rustled leaves. Everything felt lighter, clearer. He finished his work quietly, closed the shop early, drove toward Old Diner, memory guiding every mile. Maya was there inside, serving tables, smiling bright. Her laughter pure sunlight. She waved when she saw. He waved back humbly, didn't interrupt her rhythm, just stood there quietly, watching Hope serve coffee. As he left softly, a breeze carried laughter. It filled his chest. Warmth, not ache anymore. At home that evening, he framed the letter, hung it above table, between Lily's drawings and memories. Now it lived there, a reminder eternal simple. One act of courage can rewrite another's story. Later, as night fell, he stepped outside porch. Sky glowed faint lavender. Crickets sang low hymns. He looked toward streetlight, the same one that started. That whisper in rain. Bench now clean, empty. He whispered to darkness, "Thank you for finding her." Then to the stars softly, "And for finding me too." Wind brushed his hair. Leaves swayed like applause. Somewhere far, Maya smiled, felt that blessing return. Because kindness travels unseen, through letters, through hearts, through time, through memory. Through every soul it heals. That night, Ethan dreamt. Rain again, soft rhythm. But this time, peaceful. This time, no fear. He saw Maya laughing, holding Lily's small hand, walking through sunlight streets, past puddles, past pain. He woke smiling gently. The storm had truly ended. But its echo remained, not as sorrow, as grace. And when dawn broke, he whispered to himself, "Kindness doesn't fade. It only multiplies." A year slipped quietly. Seasons turned like pages. Spring melted into summer. Life breathed easier now. Oak Ridge felt gentler lately. New paint, new laughter. Even rain smelled kind. The world seemed forgiving. Ethan's shop was steady. Engines sang familiar tunes. Customers trusted his word. He smiled a little easier. Lily had grown taller, her crayons more careful, her laughter just as bright. Childhood still wrapped in wonder. One golden morning came. Saturday, sunlit and calm. He and Lily drove, heading for breakfast together. Same road, same diner. Neon flicker, familiar glow. Bench outside, still empty. Silent monument to change. Inside, chatter and warmth. Smell of pancakes and coffee. The bell above chimed. Soft music filled corners. Ethan found their booth, near window, facing sunlight. Lily kicked her legs. "Can I get waffles?" He chuckled, nodding yes. "Extra syrup, I know." She grinned, triumphant joy. "Best breakfast ever, Daddy." Then their waitress appeared. Clipboard, apron, gentle smile. Hair tied, eyes radiant. Recognition froze the air. It was Maya. Older, steadier, glowing quietly. Confidence replaced fragility now, strength beneath her grace. She gasped mid-step softly. "Mr. Cole?" "Lily!" Surprised. Her voice trembled with joy. "You came back here." Ethan stood, smiling wide. "Wouldn't miss it, Maya." Lily waved excitedly bright. "Maya, you work here now." Maya laughed, wiping tears. "Yeah, sweetheart, full-time now, even started night classes." Her pride glowed like dawn. Ethan's throat tightened warmly. "You look happy, kid." She nodded, eyes glistening. Really am." She placed plates gently, waffles steaming, butter melting. For a moment, silence. Only joy filled space. Then she whispered softly, "Sometimes I think back to that night in rain, how everything changed quietly." Ethan nodded slowly. "Sometimes I do too." They shared a look, unspoken, pure understanding. Lily reached for syrup. "Daddy," she said proudly, "Maya looks like sunshine." Maya laughed through tears. "She is sunshine now." Ethan said it softly, and meant every word. The moment felt eternal. Outside, a bus passed. Rain began faintly again. Soft drizzle, not storm. A blessing, not burden. Maya glanced at window. "That bench saved me." Ethan shook his head. "No, you saved yourself." Her eyes shimmered gently. "Maybe we both did." He smiled, voice hushed. "Yeah, maybe we did." Customers filled new tables. Laughter, clinking silverware, warmth, ordinary beauty in motion, a scene of healing. For someone lost, maybe. For someone kind, maybe. For whoever needs hope. She nodded, contented smile. They walked toward truck. Raindrops glistened like pearls. Maya waved through window. He waved back softly. Engine rumbled, soft hum. Road stretched bright ahead. Lily sang to radio. Ethan joined, voice rough. His reflection in mirror. Older, steadier, peaceful eyes. He whispered under breath. She found her way home. Camera would linger there. On smile, on sunlight, on bench, now empty. Symbol of circle complete. Voiceover slow, gentle tone. Sometimes the greatest miracles don't come from heaven above. They come from human hearts. Rain shimmered in distance, world-breathing new kindness, ripples spreading unseen always, because love remembers love. Final shot, wide and golden, bench glowing under rainbow, wind lifting old leaves, life whispering, begin again. Final line appears softly. Kindness doesn't end where it begins. It circles back, stronger.